This video is best viewed on a stereoscopic 3D monitor or with YouTube's cardboard viewing option. For more 3D options, use the Flash Player by clicking the first link in the description. For the unwarped VR version of this video suited for viewing on a 2D screen or in a VR headset, click the second link in the description. Don't worry, I don't expect to be going very far in these conditions with this car. I'm using a beautiful Fusion Cup car, the NASCAR, in thunderstorm conditions at Watkins Glen. So we're going to be driving like a grandma here. I'm only adding this clip to mention something that I completely forgot to do while recording this first impressions of the HTC VIVE running project cars. And the thing I completely forgot to mention is kind of obvious. I am once again recording this game in stereoscopic 3D. Something that I have not been able to do with Oculus since the inception of Oculus 1.3. That is kind of awesome. Now I know that it's not going to apply to everyone, and it really doesn't... Whoa! It really doesn't add that much weight for any sort of mainstream consumer doing a comparison between two headsets. Mostly because not everyone will either stream, produce content, or even go as far as recording their own experiences. But for those who do, it's always better in VR to preserve the depth perception of what you ran the day you ran it. And to me, oh shit, that's really important. And to have lost that ability with Oculus is a big deal. To guys like Immersive Gamer 83, it's also a huge deal. It's really important to let us capture the VR experience as we saw it exactly. And Oculus no longer allows for that. So, in my view, and this is really a matter of personal opinion, even though a lot of people really will benefit from the ability to capture in stereoscopic 3D, in my view, Oculus screwed up in that respect, and this to me is a huge advantage. I was actually kind of deceived not to be able to capture this freaking driving simulator in 3D anymore, and now I can with SteamVR exclusively. Ironic, because Oculus are the ones who are trying to streamline everything and close it up. And meanwhile, SteamVR got it right, and it's not even closed up. You can do whatever you want. If you want your game to say to the user, go kill yourself when they try to enable the SteamVR mirror image, you probably can if you want. You'll probably get in trouble with the law, but you probably can if you want anyways. The development software will let you. This I don't get God rays. Like fucking little stock cars. Whoa! Way too fast. It's the first time I take these cars. Damn it! Fuck, fuck, fuck. Holy shit! God fucking damn it! Learning... Oh fuck, I actually developed a gap? Really? Learning to drive a car that you've never tried before at all. I've never taken this car at all. And racing on a track you barely know. I have only, what, 50 max laps on this track. That's not a lot for a racetrack. Oh! So I'm the red car, I guess? Red car up front that's gonna bash through everybody like this. These drove a lot like stock cars. You can actually perform contact without losing your car. Look at this. Oh, come on. I didn't push him that hard, game. The guy turned left. Yeah, I played as dirty as I could because I realized after a couple of bumps, hey, wait a minute, these are driving... Oh, come on! That's bullshit again. I didn't fucking... The guy had... I left him all the fucking room in the world. I did bump him. I left him all the fucking room in the world. And now my feeling was that the whole race I had him up my ass because I kept doing mistakes. And I think it'll be true for maybe the 2 first laps, but no. Holy shit, what happened, guys? I checked out and I was having problems with this track. I was freaking out in this car. I was trying to drive it like the F-125 at the beginning, but you can't, it's too fast. So, look at this! Come on guys, where are you? I'm fucking up all over the place. I'm mopping this track. I'm cleaning it up for you. Holy shit. Okay, that was... no, look at that! You can't even catch me up in that. Christ. Alright, so it looks like I have a thing with these fucking carts. But, okay, time to state the differences between the CV1 and the Vive. And this is probably one of these few times where my impressions on the CV1 compared to the Vive will actually be far more equal. Rather than it being with the Let's Plays where it gets really hot, or with just first-party experiences where there's aspect ratio issues, where I have not seen any aspect ratios in this title in either headset. But here goes the comparison. First off, there's a big disadvantage here for P-Cars and the HTC VIVE. There is no asynchronous time warp, and when you are recording your footage, I tried all this without recording and it went rather fine, but when you are recording footage, this thing is running like the DK2 used to run it, and maybe a little slower because the resolution is being sampled at a higher rate. So it gets pretty tough in there where you're in the process of learning a car and are getting tons, and I mean tons of frame bits. So, wow, I checked it the fuck out. I checked it the fuck out on the... I checked it out at the rest of the field, if I'm saying it properly. Or improperly, should I say. Holy Jupiter shit, where are you people? You suck. I don't know why the AI are sometimes really good with one given type of car and not so good with the... They should have been all over me. I really thought they were. I was driving with the impression that I had to keep defending my line. So I was going into turns too fast and shit like that. Heck, maybe that's what gave me my edge. Anyways, point being, so you're lacking your time warp and you're getting a lot of a shaky feel. I'll give you a word of advice to reduce that. You want to reduce the world motion scale. Meaning, I think there's a shake effect in P-cars and that will reduce it. Reduce it to like 0.1 and you'll see already a big difference. Because I think what's really hurting this game is not necessarily the lack of a synchronous time warp, but rather time warp altogether. I don't think it's time warping the frame, and as you're coming down the straightaway, that fake shake it's trying to create doesn't line up with your eyes anymore. However, that being said, there's great clarity in this headset, and that sort of helps it in one way over the DK2, where I can say that this experience is way clearer than it is in the DK2. It's brighter, it's clearer, there's more details, about 10% more pixel density, kind of like in the CV1. But here's where the difference comes in. This simulator has the shimmers big time. If I look at all the lampposts right now, I am seeing shimmer on them. And I actually checked a sample video recording to see that it wasn't the headsets doing, and that shimmer is in fact in the video. And yes, that shimmer is in fact in the video. I noticed it with the CV1, but it did not bother me anywhere near as much. The problem here is that the Vive, this comes down to the lenses. Most of the time, what the CV1's trying to do with its lenses will fail and will cause more negative aspects, in my opinion, than positive aspects. This is a scenario where we get the opposite. The lenses of the CV1 and the smoothing they're trying to sort of do is working out. And on top of that, because you're in a simulator that has, most of the time, very evened brightnesses, you're not going to get the God ray problem with the lenses. So the advantage of the lenses in this simulator comes into play full swing, and you don't get the downsides from it. So in that respect, the CV1 has the edge. It's a cheat though, because the CV1 with those lenses is effectively blurring the output a little bit. It's doing it strategically so to improve the image. But the problem is that it sort of alters it in the process, right? Whereas Vive is, in my opinion, the more straight-through delivery. It takes what's on the screen, warps it to your field of view, and gives you exactly what you're seeing. And that's where it creates an upside and a downside at the same time, because now that shimmer is as there as it was when it was rendered. There is no improvement coming from the lenses at all. I am seeing the shimmer everywhere. Is it bad? No. I still have that increased range of visibility, kind of like with the CV1. The only issue I have with it is that it'll make you doubt yourself sometimes. You'll see a little shimmer on an object in the distance. You know what that object is, but you see shimmer on it, and you doubt for a quarter second too long, and in racing, quarter second is the difference between you fucking up completely and ending up last, or winning the race. So, in a way, I really like the clarity of the Vive. I'll tend to be a purist. You render the image one way, show me that exact image, don't filter it with the lenses, right? But in this case, I have to admit that the CV1 does make this look a little smoother. Now, that being said, the CV1 again gets really hot. And this is the type of experience where your body will warm up as you're doing it, especially if you like it like me with the force feedback all the way up there. Your body is gonna start rising in temperature already. It's a pretty bad idea to have something that's running over 100 degrees Fahrenheit on your face when you are already doing something that will render your seat temperature being above 100 degrees Fahrenheit already. I imagine this. In racing, look at that helmet there. I have vents in it and everything, okay? That looks like a real racing helmet, a modern racing helmet. They'll have these vents, they're all trying to get cold air in there to cool you down as you're driving. The last thing you want is to put heating elements inside your racing helmet. And that's kind of like what you're doing with Oculus Rift. You're warming up your face as you're warming up your body trying to drive a car. And remember, you're doing it indoors. You're not outside in a real car with the wind blowing against you, so it's like 10 times worse, actually. So, in that respect, it's highly welcome to wear this device for a long period of time, especially when doing a video like this, without getting irradiated or having my face baked slowly over time, as I'm already heating up inside trying to drive the car. So that's about it. Those are the only comparisons. Aside from that, these are two very good variants of a very good virtual reality experience that I recommend to everybody. The only downside here is when I start recording on with this headset, I am getting a lot of judder. It's probably going to be in the video too. What I noticed about the Steam mirror image, which is, by the way, really cool, is that it actually records the judder when I'm moving my head and the game doesn't keep up. The mirror is doing the same thing now, so it's not like with the Oculus titles, you're actually going to see the judder. That's kind of cool to me. I gotta tell you, it used to happen with Oculus all the time. It still does sometimes, but it never shows in the video. So don't think that Vive is doing worse when you see judder in the video itself. Vive is only leaving you the judder in the video, and I think that's kind of cool because you get to see what the judder looks like when it happens, so you may be ready to understand what it feels like when you get it. But it could actually be unfair in the sense that you don't see it in the Oculus videos, but rest assured it happens in both headsets every now and then. In this title, now that I'm recording, more so than should be, let's put it that way. If I wasn't recording, it would be very, very enjoyable. Nearly as much so as with the CV1. Like I said, the smoothness issue really changes things. But then if you're going to go and do 3 races, the temperature issue will start winning over any advantage the CV1 has. So that's it, let's go do something else. I gotta fill up this menu. Ah, yeah. California highway in reverse. So it's kind of like a first. I never actually tried it in reverse. And we're going to be doing a similar test of the CV1. And first thing I can tell you is, I wish I had a synchronous time warp right now. Mostly because I'm recording. If I wasn't recording, this would be fully better. But the fact that I'm recording really taxes my system heavily here. Make sure I can fucking see. Holy fuck. And there's bumps, if I recall properly, at the end of this track. So, it's going to be an exercise similar to last time. When I can see far, I can go fast. So how far can I see? This is highly similar. I was worried, when I started the thing, I just ran it quickly and did my view center. I see shimmer all around the lines on the road that I didn't see in the CV1. However, visibility is identical. And I'd say I stand by what I said in my assessment at the end of the karting run. Which is, sometimes you might doubt yourself. Sometimes you might doubt what's coming up. Really, really far though. I'm talking like, you're looking at something that's like over 300 to 500 meters away, and you're not entirely sure. That hasn't happened yet in this run. I must have a little bit of memory on what it was in one way. This is highly exciting, as usual. Oh, I think I know where this part is. I gotta be careful though. There, I doubted for a second there. The rail, I wasn't sure if I was gonna go right or left. And the road fork. Holy shit! I only got one really big moment of shimmering there, and it was during a moment where I wanted to shut up because it was pretty intense. The bridge. At the end of the bridge, I really couldn't see well because there's too many lines and too much shimmering over shimmering over shimmering. Aside from that, since then, the shimmering isn't bothering me one single bit. I'm seeing where I'm going. Holy shit. This is just as fun as with the other headset, despite the lack of ATW, I'm surprised. It feels like shaking. This is why I recommend reducing the world motion, I guess, the world scale motion, the world motion. Has nothing to do with world scale, by the way. Don't change your fucking world scale, leave it at 1. It's actually perfect at 1. You can change the world scale in this sim. If you want to go mono, you can go mono. Mono sucks, though. Seriously, in VR, mono sucks. If you're getting motion sickness, you'll get more if you're playing in mono. Whew. I did not see that turn. I tried to challenge it. So bumpy, holy fuck. So I gotta react quick. This is a really good track to test this shit out, this visibility shit out. I gotta react really fucking quick when I notice that I just spotted something I have to react to. Damn, is it bumpy on the uphill. This time it will definitely not be better than my other way. It is bumpy all over the fucking place. And the reason why I recommend reducing world motion, I guess, I got a headphone that popped out, is you already get a sort of sensation of motion when you're frame dips. So you don't really need additional world motion. But I guess the better your game runs, the less you'll have to reduce it. That you can actually keep it there. Almost lost control of the car as I was doing that. Notice when I can actually spot the next tight turn, I start flatting it because I know how much I can go without being careful at that moment. So I just go flat out. Pretty hard to see here because it's always going uphill. Oh, there we go. We're done. So, most annoying part of this is the fucking headphones falling out. 7:17 for a first time in reverse. 17 seconds off. That sounds legit. I was being really careful at the end because the car fucking starts dancing. It does not do that in the other direction. So wow, this is impressive. I'm happy that this headset does well with this simulator because I'll tell you something. If iRacing, word to iRacing, I'm calling you out again. Implement SteamVR support. Your simulator will be a superior one. Why? Performance. If you can outperform, you can run exactly at the required frame rate, and you can easily beat Project Cars in terms of virtual reality experience. In my opinion, it always did beat Project Cars as a virtual reality experience, mostly because it's slightly more realistic, less forgiving, and runs simply better. The reason why I don't use it as often anymore is because it really lacks in things to do solo. There is no AI, and sometimes you want to develop your driving, and that's all you want to do. You don't want to go race online. You don't want to have the whole public deal. You just want to do your own little thing. And I think iRacing could work on that. But right now, SteamVR, guys, SteamVR, I'm confident that it would be dominant. So, how is it? How's the difference? It says 3 headsets now that I use with this simulator. And it's a lot of comparing to do. In this case, what I can say is the CV1 and the HTC VIVE both took it to the next generation for me, each in their own respect. The CV1 takes it to the next gen more on the software end. The asynchronous time warp really helps a guy like me who is recording at the same time. Now, I do have to make a stern note here that may not apply to you. That really may not be even part of the contest. Even right now, I'm still recording and it feels legit. I'm not getting judder. I'm getting slight struggle, but not judder. I was getting judder on the last track though. So judder is possible while you're recording. It will not necessarily happen, but it's a downside that I mentioned. The other upside the CV1 has over this is image smoothing. This is where clarity may not benefit this simulator as much as other games. I'm seeing the shimmering everywhere, and like I said earlier, I checked the video recording to make sure that shimmering was not the pixels in the headset, but rather inside the game itself, and it is very much inside the game itself. So, the increase in detail is there in both headsets for this simulator, just that I find that the Vive's clarity sort of ironically hurts it. I'll forgive it highly though, because like I said earlier, I would be a purist. I'm more for a type of headset that's going to take the image on the screen, and the only modification that will do to the image is adapt it for your field of view, and that is it. No smoothing, no fucking with the light, just give me that nice, exact screen view and do what you need to do to it so that it feels like a proper field of view. That's it. So in that respect, the Vive is doing exactly that. And that's where, in this case, CV1 gives itself the edge with that slight blur. And I mentioned temperature. I've done right now the 250cc race, the reverse California track, a couple of warm-up runs before all that, and now I'm driving the NASCAR, and my body is hot. It is hot. My headset is not. And this is a huge welcome point. Look, I would freak out if I were on an actual track and my helmet were physically getting itself hot. Like, not from my body heat, but rather itself, like from electronics inside it. I would honestly freak out, like claustrophobia style, after 2 laps. I would need to run out of the car and toss that helmet off my face. So, to do that in a simulation, you're not making me feel as terrible as I would on the track, because I'm not driving an actual car and I'm not suffocating on my own CO2 fumes. It's much better in that respect, right? Because you're in the comfort of your house, but still, man, ah ha 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 ha. You know, after a while, it's a bit freakish to go and have something on your face that's heating up while you're doing what can actually, in theory, be called a sport, even in the simulator context. So that can actually be more powerful a downside than anything that has to do with any visuals, really. And on the side of temperature, I have to make a note. Some people may bring up the silly reason that Oculus tries to bake pizzas in itself because they want to remove fogging. Well, I'll tell you firsthand, racing simulators are super subject to fogging. They are the worst candidate for it. Why? Because you're sweating as you are playing. If you're putting a lot of force feedback and you get into an exciting race, you will sweat. This will happen. With the DK2, I would get some of it. At the end of a race, sometimes I had to do one of these to sort of suck the goddamn fog out of the headset, okay? Pure honesty here. It didn't happen with the CV1, go figure, because it's trying to cook pizzas, but here's the interesting part. I've had this on my face for, what, half an hour straight now, and another 20 minutes before. That would be right around the time I start getting fogging, especially that crazy-ass race at the beginning. That was something. That was actually a little exhausting, because it was like, holy shit, I'm holding onto a car, I have no idea how it works, and I'm leading. And I have a lead to keep now. Whoops. And yeah, that was kind of funny. But I should have fogged up there towards the end, and this thing didn't even fucking, like, not a single thing. So, lo and behold, you do not need to operate above 100 degrees Fahrenheit to fucking eliminate fog. So I'm gonna actually propose something to Oculus. Let's say that by some crazy factor, this ended up being done by design. That the thing runs fucking hot because it's by design. Then surely a firmware update could be done to either adjust this or entirely remove it altogether, because it's freaking silly. Like I said, you don't need to run at 100 to eliminate fog. I'm not getting fogging right now, and I'm working pretty hard in the simulator. Do a firmware update, and I will redo my experiment. But more than that, I'm gonna try playing long duration with the CV1 again. If there's a known firmware update that addresses the temperature issue, I will have to try playing with it, and then I'll have to, if I find there is a notable difference, I'll have to redo the experiment. There's a chance for them to redeem themselves, especially if it was done by design. The product just came out. We can be forgiving to a mistake that is reversible. The reason why I'm really bummed out with the CV1 right now is I'm afraid a lot of these mistakes are not reversible. You can't correct those God rays via anything that, like, you can reduce the screen brightness, but I don't think it's going to fully address the issue. And they will still, those God rays, be relatively brighter than your game content, no matter what brightness level you run at. So I hope you enjoyed everything, and yes, P-Cars will be featured more on this channel, of course. It's I realized since the first video I made that people really like the sim and want to see more of it, and I like it too, so don't worry. It's going to be back on the channel. This is not the last video I do on it, although it might actually be the last first impressions specific video. Yeah, because at this point, like, I mean, 3 headsets, 1 content pack, and I ran out of gas. 3 headsets, 1 content pack, and 1 runtime first impressions. So, yeah, we're done. Why is it? See, that's a bug. Your engine's not supposed to be revving when you're at a gas peak car. That shit should be at 0. I just noticed that before I stopped my recording. But I think aside from that, relevant things, this was a lot of fun. And the HTC VIVE is doing a good job with the sim. I will be able to use this as well. So thanks for watching Stereo 3D Productions, and I shall see you next time.